Hey YouTube. Okay, so it's been a minute since I've been on here, but I wanted to come on here and talk about something because the something that I want to talk about is relevant to the work that I do around company culture and diversity, equity, and inclusion. And I want to talk about what's hot on the streets right now, which is the Funky Dineva, Claudia Jordan, Joyce Armand Wiggins debacle that's happening. Now, I want to talk about this from two separate places, right? One, the place of the relationship between Joyce, the producer, who seems to have been everybody's boss, and from Claudia's perspective and point of view. So, the first thing that I noticed in that video that was shared was the way in which Al was speaking to Joyce. And having been in corporate America for a very long time, being a manager and a director and having employees underneath me, it is not uncommon for leaders and managers to like an employee more than they like the rest. That is not uncommon. We see this all the time in the workplace. So that's not an uncommon thing to have happened. And this is clearly what's going on between Joyce and Al. It's also not uncommon for when you are a boss or a leader or a manager that likes an employee that you don't know how to set healthy boundaries around those relationships so they don't interfere with your ability to manage them in the workplace. And as I was watching that exchange between both Joyce and Al, it is clear to me that Joyce did not learn healthy boundaries, and so it allowed Al to speak to her in that way. But the reason why I think Joyce allowed Al to speak to her that way, because a lot of times when managers get too close to employees, they tend to start divulging to employees personal business about other employees they have no right divulging. And that's what it felt like to me. It felt like Al had more information or more dirt on Joyce than Joyce was willing to anger him about that he would tell. When you get too close to your employees and you start talking to them about other employees, you not only compromise your ability to lead and manage them and to maintain a level of respect, but you also compromise your own job. And as I was watching that exchange between her and Al, it felt like she wasn't going to push him, she wasn't going to anger him, because she didn't want him probably spilling their tea about how much she spilled about other people on that call. And so once you do that, you give your employees the upper hand over you, and you can't manage them anymore. You can't correct them anymore because you have demonstrated a level of unprofessionalism with them that you can't come back from. Now, everybody's saying that the tapes that got leaked from Claudia. And I think Claudia, I don't know these people, so let me start here. I don't know Claudia Jordan. I don't know any of these people. And when I say I don't know them, I don't keep up with them. So I know Claudia Jordan was on The Real Housewives of Atlanta, and I think she's an actress, and I know that she's hosted some things. So when I say I don't know them, I just mean I don't keep up with the long expansion of anybody else's career. But from what I understand, from just being on the YouTube streets, Claudia put this show together and brought on Al and Funky to make this show a hit. And it feels like both of those men were trying to push her out of the thing that she created. If I'm wrong, please correct me in the comment section. But what it feels like is that here you have a woman who thought she was doing something to help friends, and those friends were trying to leverage that help into either propelling their career to something else or pushing her out of the thing that she created. Now, if I were Claudia, would I have leaked those tapes just to prove that I was not wrong? No. No. You know that saying, the truth will always slow walk a lie? The truth will always slow walk a lie. Because what that does, if I'm an employer thinking about hiring a Claudia Jordan or hiring an Al or anybody else, I'm going to think, do I have a level of confidentiality with this employee? Is things that happen in the workplace going to make it to the internet via this employee? Sometimes being right in the moment can make you very wrong in the long term, right? This need for us to validate who we are and how we show up in the world to relative strangers is one of the downfalls of social media and the parasocial relationships a lot of people engage in when it comes to social media. I don't think anybody hands are clean in this, right? The dissolution of the show, the breakdown of the relationships. I don't think anybody's hands are clean. But what I would encourage those of you who watch this, if you are a manager, if you are a leader in your organization, be very mindful about how you lead and how you manage your employees. It is a natural thing to have employees that you click with more. It is natural to have employees that you like a little bit better, you get along better. That is a natural thing for a lot of people to have. Being able to maintain boundaries between liking an employee personally and crossing lines is going to be a necessity. And it's not just a necessity for you, but it's also a necessity for that employee as well. Because if you share too much and they know too much, and the company got to get rid of you for talking too much, that company may need to get rid of your employee for knowing too much. It creates a level of protection for both of you, that you get to maintain the professionalism on the job while having a friendship outside of work. I don't know if that is absolutely the case in regards to Al and Joyce, that Joyce divulged too much and Al knows her tea, or if Joyce just doesn't know how to stand up for herself, especially when men are involved, right? It could be either one of those things. I personally think Joyce probably shared too much. And I only say that because Claudia talked about how when her and Al stopped talking, Al and Joyce never stopped talking. That Al and Joyce's relationship never deteriorated. And what that says to me is that Al and Joyce were having conversations about the rest of the group while the group wasn't present. And I hope that Joyce, the producer, I hope she sees this video, and I hope she understands that you can't effectively manage and garner respect of employees if you get too close. And that does not mean that you can't have a good working relationship with your employees. That does not mean that your employees can't see you as that you have an open door policy, that they can come and talk to you about whatever. What it means, though, is that they cannot come to you and talk poorly about other employees, that they cannot come to you and engage in gossip, that they cannot come to you and engage in slander of other employees, that if they come to you, they're coming to you for you to help mediate and resolve issues, not be in the center of the issues. Managing is not easy. Workplaces are tricky to navigate. But I think if you maintain a sense of boundaries, you can navigate it better than most. And there was so much boundaries that were not in place regarding this relationship. And I hope for all parties involved that they learn how to engage with each other in a workplace more professionally and to keep their personal feelings as much as they can out of the workplace, especially because what they had was a good thing. It was a good thing for them personally and financially, and it was a good thing for the culture. And I hate that a show built around Black people, including Black queer people, ended the way that it did. It only furthers the stereotype that gay Black men and Black women cannot work together and cannot get along. And we know that that's not true. I hope wherever each of these people land, I hope they land in success, a sense of peace, and I pray that the next people they work with, that is better than the ones they just left. But this is a cautionary tale for managers and leaders, that you got to be careful how much you share, how much you divulge to employees, because the thing you share with them, could be the thing that becomes your own undoing in the workplace.